Getting access to funding that doesn't reflect on your personal credit should be your number one priority. So, how do you get funding without it affecting your personal credit score? Well, you have to pick the right products. Especially if you're starting out and you're looking for capital for your business, you have a couple options that you can choose from. You have personal loans, personal credit cards, business loans, utilizing your W 2 documentation, as well as business credit cards and business bank rate lines of credit that are essentially not going to show up on your file. And so if we compare these five, you have the business loans, which are okay, but majority of people don't qualify for. You got the personal cards and personal loans, and then you have the business cards and business loans. These aren't useless. They're actually very useful, and they come in really handy oftentimes, especially when you are bootstrapping your startup business. But the order of which you go about securing these products matter a ton. The reason being is because these two, the high limit business credit cards at 0% interest and the bank rate lines of credit, they don't reflect on your personal score. And so, what do you need in order to secure these two? Well, for the business credit cards, you only need an LLC as well as a credit score above 750 for you to really have fun with this system and secure anywhere between 50 to on average 150 grand of 0% for your LLC, even if it's brand new. A lot of that funding can be extended past the introductory 12-month period at 0%, sometimes even for up to 7 years. And so I know that sounds a little ridiculous, but let me explain. If your personal credit profile is very, very strong, I'm talking about 780 plus, maybe 800 plus, you have a high comparable limit, meaning you have a personal credit card with like a 30, 40 grand limit, and you haven't touched business credit before, every single application, every single bank is going to give you anywhere between 40 to 70 grand on one card. And so if you were to strategically apply for these cards year after year, we've had clients essentially have a funding plan outlining how they're going to get 70 grand for the next 6 years, how they're going to get 150 grand for the next 3 years. And it's not very difficult to do once you understand the system. Getting business credit cards, as well as now business lines of credit, even if you were to completely max out the utilization, it will not show up on your personal credit score, meaning I can have 130 grand out of 130 grand, which is the limit of my business credit card at 0% still. If it's fully maxed out, my credit score is still going to stay 820. Meaning, in the case I needed to, I could go back for personal loans and personal credit cards and get access to more funding if my business needed it. And so, the second types of product, business lines of credit. Business lines of credit are essentially just business credit cards without an introductory period of 0%. The interest rate is going to be tied to prime at the time of recording this video, which is the 2nd of March. I believe it's 7.75%, so 1 or 2 points, depending on how old your LLC is. There's a couple banks, Wells Fargo and TD, that specifically will give you a business line of credit even if your LLC is just 1 year old. But that line of credit will essentially have higher rates starting at 12 to 14% compared to bank rates, which essentially are going to be much, much lower once your business is above 2 years. Most traditional, national, regional, local banks will start to give you lines of credit once your LLC hits 2 years, and credit unions will give you lines of credits once your entity is 3 years old. And so, super important, lines of credit are great. If you qualify and you don't need it, you should still get a couple, because most businesses that come to me will always come to me with a problem. I need money now. And these lines of credits take 1 or 2 months for you to actually secure, especially if you want that max amount with the lowest rate. And so compared to a merchant cash advance or a business advance, It takes more time, but it's more valuable in the long run. And so equipping yourself with a bank rate line of credit is going to do your business more good than harm. So look, besides an LLC, what do I need? Well, assuming you're brand new, a business email, a business phone number. But all these little compliance things, I'll write down somewhere in the description below. It's not too big of a blockade. Really, the basic and most important thing you should focus on is your personal credit. Is your personal credit ready to be leveraged for business funding? If it's not, I'm going to include a guide down below that's going to teach you how to make your personal credit so solid, able to be leveraged to get the business funding. Other than that, let me know if this video has helped. I'll see you next time.